paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying, I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes.
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason. Welcome, everybody, to a very special episode of Brainstorm Brewery. I am your co-host, typer of keyboards, haver of COVID, watcher of Survivor, Corbin Hostler, here, everybody, with my...
That's your... You didn't even try to do a voice, man.
My friend, Jason Alt.
Remember I would do the Marcel voice? You're putting in so little effort, DJ.
What does a Corbin sound like, Jason? Tell me.
Everybody, I'm Corbin. Just like a regular guy who got in a car crash.
Was he a Batman henchman? Like
a henchman? It's the Bat! There's always one guy who just says it's the Bat. And everyone's like, what? The. He's like, that's what I said, it's the Bat. It's like, man, Gotham is not technically New Jersey. You don't have to do a voice.
My favorite Batman henchman is the one in the animated series who, like, opens the door to check to see if there's anybody in there, and Batman's typing away at the computer and just turns to look at the henchman, and then the henchman just stands there and then just closes the door.
Yeah. That's a guy who knows. That's a guy who's...
Yeah.
Listen, if you're a 22-year-old henchman, you're like, oh, man, the Penguin will be so impressed when I take out the Bat, and he, like, tries to shoot him or whatever, and Batman's like, God, I'm just trying to type, you son of a bitch. But, like, a guy in his late 30s with, like, maybe a wife and kids is just going to be like, I don't get paid enough to have Batman break my clavicle. We don't get health insurance. There's not some, like, right? The Penguin's not going to be like, oh, yeah, we'll take care of your bills. It's just like, why can't you hench on Saturday? Well, I got a real bad henching-related injury. I don't give a shit. I'm the Penguin. So that guy knows it's not worth it. So I get it. Self-preservation. Like, what is one of you gonna do to Batman?
And that self-preservation is something that Corbin's just great at. He's just one of those life forms that continues to persist.
That's not true. He traveled on an airplane the week that they announced they were removing the mask mandate. He got some sort of illness that might be COVID from his kids who were at school, and he got in a car crash today. So, I would say that's the opposite of self-preservation. Corbin is alive. Not here for more than one reason.
He's alive, though, I think. I didn't actually know about the car crash part. He might be alive.
Yeah, he literally got in a car. He was like, I can't cast tonight because I'm sick, and then he got in a car crash on top of that. I think he fell asleep, but... He referred to it as somebody decided to hit him, and I just assume he's like, man, you screwed up the front of my car at the back of your car, you dick.
And on that note, we have a very special guest, returning guest. How many times have you been on the cast, Paul?
Probably like 350 or so. What episode
Carry
is
the
this?
One.
What episode number is this? I've been on like 400 plus episodes, DJ, and I wouldn't call me a long-term guest. That's awkward. I've been here a while, man. Why are you guys doing
awkward.
Why are you doing the uncomfortable sign? You don't get to do that to me.
Taking the power back.
Introduce yourself, Paul.
That's our not word.
You're so good at
that's
MTG
our
Finance.
Not word.
Come on, Paul. Introduce yourself. Let's see it. Let's hear your intro, Paul. If you're so good at podcasting. Oh, guys, have me come back on the cast. I love it. Yeah, let's see it, Paul. This is your audition to replace Corbin.
Audition for what? Jesus. Oh, God. Can I stop? Should I leave then? Like, what if I don't? Is this mandatory?
I don't make the rules, man. I just enforce them with an iron fist.
Typical white man.
Ask any of my henchmen. It's DeBrat. It's pronounced DeBrat. Just go ask for an autograph. She's a regular person. All right, Paul. Jesus.
But, like, by the way, like, nothing feels better than telling someone I don't get paid enough for this. Like, nothing feels better in the entire world. But yeah, I'm Paul Feudo. I've been doing MTG Finance for, I guess, a decade now. I've ran GP booths. I've done arbitrage. I've been on this podcast a bunch. Yeah, that's me.
I think a decade, oh god, is the accurate because that's kind of where I'm at too. It's like I've been doing this for 2-digit number.
I have nothing I can put on a resume. I don't have a single
happened?
marketable skill. It's just a lost decade. I was like, I have $3,000 and 10 years of recrimination.
I have been trying to figure out like the verbal, like the linguistic gymnastics to put on a resume, like handles large financial transactions between private parties is like like I've bought a Black Lotus before.
Honestly, like I had to do that when Charles first sold deals. And it is really, really weird. You end up having to sort of break it down into like numeric things because a lot of other stuff isn't going to qualify. So it's like, I was responsible for X amount of dollars in inventory. I was responsible for this much churn. You know, you have to break it down into numbers because otherwise, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah, you have to translate. You have to translate it. You have to like.
Yeah. And
I do think that
you could just put, I'm used to a non-union position that didn't give me benefits, and every employer is going to be into that.
I mean, I do think that there are a lot of skills and things that you have to do in this industry, even if you're doing it as like a side hustle, that do translate to real world cover letter stuff, like just supply chain purchasing, like social media management, digital, like even if you just edit or like do thumbnails for videos or something like that as a side hobby. Like I do think there's a lot of things you can put on a resume. You just have to be creative with the wording while remaining accurate or inaccurate, because lie on your resumes, it's fine. Capitalism. I'm still Corbin, by the way. I'm still Corbin.
Right.
Legally speaking, I'm still Corbin.
Why would you want to be Corbin? Legally speaking, why would you want to be financially responsible for his decisions?
Well, I just told people to lie on the resume, so like I'm Corbin for that
Splinter
sentence.
fright.
That's a good
Splinter
point.
fright.
Everybody should lie on their resume, though. Like, it's their job to catch you. Say you got a college degree. You think they're gonna check? You don't think giving somebody $100 at a registrar's office to just like answer the phone and be like, "Oh yeah, he's good." That seems like way better than giving somebody $60,000 for a piece of paper you don't use, right? So, just say you went to college. Who cares?
I will say bribery is a skill I learned in this industry. When an unnamed coworker and I were returning a rental car, we forgot to refill the gas tank. And we handed the keys over to the guy along with an unknown amount of money and said, "We have a full tank." And then he said, "You have a full tank." So allegedly.
Okay, an unknown amount of money. It was less money than they would have charged you for not filling the tank back up.
Yeah, but don't they vig you super hard on tanks? Like, isn't that the point?
Yeah, that's why it's efficient to just pay the guy.
I'm just saying that listeners are gonna keep that a secret between me and, like, nobody's gonna at Soul Company here. Nobody's gonna tweet at them. Our little secret, right?
I'll be honest, the thing this industry taught me most about cars is that sometimes you have to keep your boss from fighting a cabbie.
And sometimes your car gets crushed into a cube with your house keys inside it.
That did happen to me.
Both those
that
things
was
happened.
not alleged.
Neither's mine. I was there. I was the one who did it.
Unsleeved decks and unclaimed keys, the Douglas Johnson story.
You know what's not a secret, though? The secret Lair products that are launching next month.
Oh, that is a transition.
Wizards of the Coast website.
Oh my god.
We have a new super drop.
Oh, Douglas Johnson. What a transition. I'm proud of you, bud.
I'm still
Maybe
Corbin.
you are Corbin. Maybe you're really Corbin. Maybe you just tell yourself you're Corbin to get psyched up so you could just do the best segues possible.
It's method acting, right? I watched Morbius. I'm full into the
You watched
Jared
Morbius?
I didn't, but I'm saying
Why?
I did for
Yeah,
this bit.
thank you,
I didn't. But I'm saying I did for the bit. Method acting.
There's so many good movies you haven't seen. If you saw Morbius, I would cry a little.
I have not. But yeah, there's a Secret Lair super drop because 3-digit numbers of Secret Lairs were not enough in the year of our Lord 2022. We have a bundle.
DJ ran a Twitter poll and everybody was wrong about how many Secret Lairs came out.
I think there were a decent number of people that were correct.
They had a 25% chance of guessing.
But yeah, we have over 100 unique Secret Lairs now. Yeah, that's a real thing. There are over 100 unique Secret Lairs. So however many you think there are, there's probably more.
That's I don't know how to feel about Secret Lairs because my LGS sure seems to like them. They sure seem to like having them in stock and selling them.
Yeah, they move
I think
super
that's a
well.
fair
Yeah.
take.
So if a product's not for me, but my LGS likes it, and I want my LGS to stay open, and I do, good. I don't have to like everything, man. I don't like most things, and they're allowed, right? Even if you have a podcast, it turns out you don't have to make a big deal out of not liking stuff. I know that's why you have a podcast, but like sometimes it's just okay to be like, these suck for me, but then other people are excited about them. And then every once in a while, someone will play a card and be like, that looks sick. And they're like, yeah, this is from a Secret Lair that you made fun of. And I'm like, touche. And that's not what you want either.
I do think that they've been very hit or miss in terms of if you're looking to buy Secret Lairs and then later resell them. There are some very, very good ones. There are some very not good ones. Like the Dracula ones were, of course, a big hit. The Dracula ones are going to pay off very, very well. Doubly so, I think, because of the fact that a lot of people are going to cancel their orders. That's a whole different rabbit hole. The Street Fighter ones, of course, are going to age very, very well. This bundle doesn't have anything super insane from the looks of it, at least in terms of like how much the lair costs compared to what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Concordant Crossroads and Goblin Settler are finally getting reprints. The left-handed one is definitely cards. Foil Empress Galena.
That's so weird. It's not enough left-handed cards to like make a whole deck, so it's just sort of like it's just gonna be a card that's weird in your hand.
I mean, it's no different than like if you have like a fan of what an average hand of Magic cards looks like nowadays. Like even without this, none of them look the same, right? You have like
an invocation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are these sick Art Deco cards from the new set? How good is that?
What was that, Paul?
I mean, it's just like they're probably just using this to test to see if they can make a left-handed onset or something. Like, that's probably what it's for.
They could call it unnecessary.
Bazinga.
Unsortable.
Dude, this shit's already unsortable.
Yep.
Like...
But I mean, so like the Dracula Secret Lairs were put on sale last year, and some
just got dinged this week.
I was gonna say some people. So the method on how you get charged for the Secret Lairs is not consistent in the slightest. I have tried to figure out the method in terms of order quantity or price or number of products that determines whether or not you get charged immediately or later on when it's shipped. It is not consistent. So some people placed big orders at the end of last year. They got charged up front. And if they ordered the Heads, Tails, Flippy coin deck, that is still not shipping until the end of this year because of unforeseen production issues, whatever that means.
Okay, so there are a couple different people in a couple different situations vis-a-vis the delayed deck. There's the people that like paid for it and they're fine waiting. There's the people that paid for it and they're like, well, fuck this. I should just cancel my order then. I'm not going to wait a year. And then there are the people that like, I guess don't remember that they like said they would pay all this money. I feel like that's the thing.
Yeah.
I got an email saying that, like, we're sending you Dracula Secret Layers, and apparently I got drunk and ordered the max, because I was like, that's a lot of money. But I don't remember doing it, and it was like a year ago, so I'm glad I'm in a better financial position now than I was a year ago, but not everybody is, and some people, I don't know, man. Some people might want to cancel those orders. So what do you think the number of those coin flip decks going out in the wild is going to look like relative to cards into the market from other secret layers?
Well, I think that's part of the question is, right, it's like, if you were buying these, like, for profit, like, specifically the deck, like, would you cancel? Like, do you want to give them $100 on the year-long CD? No, right?
Well, that's the super weird thing, is, like, on one hand, I don't want to give Wizards an interest-free loan.
Right.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I think it's a game of chicken, and that, like, the people who don't cancel their orders get rewarded
double
supply
up or whatever, right?
What's that?
Oh, they're just like they're gonna double up or some shit, right?
Right, yeah, like, I think it's a game of chicken where the people who don't cancel their orders and are willing to look down the barrel get rewarded because a bunch of other people will cancel their orders, and that makes the supply go down, and that means the people who were willing to brave the storm and hodl just get paid.
But what about when they have a bunch of extra copies left over, they resolve the production issues, they're finally, like, ramping up and all these orders are canceled? Are they going to have a bunch of the extra ones sitting around? And if so, how do they offload them? Could we see a mass dump to Amazon?
I think that's an interesting precedent that I'm not sure that they want to
It is, because, like, I don't know how far into the order cancel thing you'll be able to cancel your order, like, and I don't know where they are on the production line in terms of where those timelines meet up.
Yeah.
And, like, because you could theoretically make an argument, like, if you get charged this week, like you and I did, and then, like, 4 or 5 months down the line, like, we still don't have our coin flip secret layers, you can, like, make an argument to, like, your credit card company and be like, hey, it's been X weeks and I don't have product that I paid for, and, like, production issues aside, I think your credit card company will take your side on that if you haven't gotten the product you paid for.
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
It's weird. Like, I was already very gung ho on the coin flip lair and the Dracula and the Arcane one. Those are the three that I went on deep.
Oh, the League of Legends one?
Yeah. Because it was Ristic Study, so it's Ristic Study plus free cards, and I'm still good on all of them, I think. And the Street Fighter one, I was very, very good on.
Oh, I ordered the max on Street Fighter, man. That's
I legitimately
exciting.
don't remember how many Street Fighters I ordered. It could be 0 or it's either 0 or the max.
Right.
Like,
I went full Street Fighter 2 Turbo mode, baby. That was pure nostalgia. I don't even know if it's a good financial decision to buy.
I think it is.
So,
I'm probably gonna
build
build 8 decks from that stupid drop, man. I'm probably just gonna.
What was that, Paul?
Have we had an IP layer fail yet? We haven't, right? All of them have hit?
No. The Walking Dead was, of course, a very, very hit one. And
right.
Arcane, we don't have data on yet. And
The Godzilla lands were fine.
Does the D&D, like, comic book art one count as a like, you know, the one with, like, the My Little Pony crash through?
Oh, kind of, not really. Like, I guess, like, because, like, the con ones count more, like the Twilight Princess, like 200.
Yeah, like the Nerf gun and the Mega Transformer. Yeah,
those were San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. Those things are I watch people pay $100 on eBay for a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Harry Potter tote bag. And I got one at the end of the week, and I was like, $100, and I went on eBay, and they were, like, free. So, like, even Comic-Con exclusives aren't Comic-Con exclusives. That has to make sense to somebody other than me.
So, the current secret layer, there's the April Super Drop 2022, which has just a myriad of stuff. There's the Astrology Lands, which I would not want to touch with a 10-foot pole. Basic Lands secret layers have not performed well outside of the Godzilla ones, I think.
What about the all-text one? Do we have any... I feel like there's so much data we don't have.
Yeah, because they really ramped up like through winter of last year, and we just have a bunch of outstanding orders that just like aren't here yet. Because they're like, I don't know, like a lot of these feel kind of medium to me, because like the Concordant Crossroads one is literally a pile of nothing other than Concordant
plus
Crossroads.
Concordant Crossroads. Which is only like a $50 card. Like I know only like I tried to buy a bunch for $20 and I'm mad I didn't get them, but like it's a $50 card. So it's a $50 card, but at the same time that's the whole secret layer.
Right. Like
Yes.
you have to hit on the extra for it to be like anything. To like really make sense.
But I think they had to know that, and they had to know they couldn't load it up.
It's the same for the Goblin Settler one. Goblin Settler is just a very weird old card that's never seen a real reprint.
Yeah.
And this one does have other cards in it. There's Goblin Settler, Void Winnower, Vengevine, and Collector Oof. And I think the Vengevine is
those
at least
are
from the
yeah. Those
from
are
the
all
memes
good.
I've seen, the Vengevine is pretty beloved. So that might be the good one to get. Is just like the wacky, whimsical, what's it, Adventure Time looking.
But honestly, is there
Dudes.
one to get, or are you going to make money on every single one? Because as weird as and polarizing as some of them are, when something is polarizing, you get a lot of people really jazzed at that one pull. So it seems kind of like we can debate which ones are better. You know, oh, Dracula, that's got appeal outside of Magic or whatever. Street Fighter's very popular. But at the same time, it's like, do they make enough that it matters? Or is it like every single one is going to get bought by somebody, so they're all going to make money? Or do you think they can make a secret layer so bad that like you could lose money just buying whatever their, price is, knowing that they're going to sell for more later?
There have been historically bad secret lairs. I can't name specifically off the top of my head. I can't give you a list because there's 100 of them.
Yeah.
But I do think that there have been bad ones, like the comic book-esque D&D. I don't even know the name of the lair, but it's the one with the crash through. That one, that card I pay 30-40 cents on buy list, so I know that one's got some stinkers.
Yeah.
It's there's just so many nowadays. Like I'm gonna butcher the name, Magali Villeneuve. French.
Same as
Villeneuve.
director of Dune, Denis Villeneuve.
Okay. I mean, she's a very, very iconic and well-known artist, and she's got, like, 3 of those cards are 4 ofs, Death Shadow, Mother of Runes, and Elvish Mystic. Those are all real Magic cards. The Singleton Forest is a bit awkward, but, like, theoretically, we could see the Death Shadow go for a lot, but, again, it's a competitive staple where other players who are entrenched Shadow players already have their weird playsets. They have their foils, their non-English ones, their etc. So, like, I'd rather just go deep on the ones that I think are good. If you are going to, again, if you're looking to resell these, I think you either go deep on the ones that you think are good, or you just try to take advantage of the bundle pricing.
Yeah.
And just get the 20% discount or so for buying the huge bundle and just try to put a bunch of eggs in different baskets.
The bundle bonanza is a great way to go because, shaving off that 20%, that's just money in your pocket. You could sell for what they retail for and make 20%, but you're going to do better than that. So having like a built-in 20% is just great going into it.
Yeah, that's really
I'm sorry, did I interrupt Paul to explain why a 20% discount is a good thing? Jesus Christ, why do I have a podcast? I'm sorry, Paul, what were you going to say, bud?
You're really illustrating the power of bulk buying on these because, not everybody can afford to drop a 30 spot on $370 or whatever, but you're absolutely right that, reasonably low expectations, probably 35% before fees, which is, real good money even on a year. But honestly, the most awkward thing about the bundle is, you're getting $100 off, but 50 of it is, the Showcase Gilded Foil thing, which is kind of weird and a lot of money for 3 cards. But in general, I think that strategy is going to be fine over time. So it would be weird to not use it this one particular instance.
But are we thinking we're going to see Secret Lair fatigue? Are we thinking they're just going to hunt all the whales to extinction with stuff like this, or do we think the gravy train's going to keep rolling for 5 more years because they figured out a cool new way to really monetize their whales? Because they weren't. Whales were paying a couple $100 every new set to get like a couple of booster boxes, just like everybody else, because that was what you could do.
But I think you're 100% right though. As far as they weren't taking advantage of the whales. But I kind of think the reason that the Secret Lair works so well is that like there can't really be Secret Lair fatigue because it's print to demand.
Yeah.
So like if people just don't buy them, they just won't make that many. And the people that do buy them will make more money. So like,
yeah.
It'd be different.
Yeah,
it's different.
But I guess
like,
I'm not talking about doing long-term damage to the concept of the Secret Lair, but maybe doing long-term damage to the concept of people being excited to spend money on Magic cards.
So there is an argument for sort of the tail end of this year having mass player fatigue, just because of like the annual holiday storm plus the annual the annual since 2018 or whatever, just product hose that Wizards is spitting out. And then the fact that these delayed coin flip Secret Lairs are going to hit at the end of the year with that product fatigue, where it's like, okay, I got these coin flip decks. They're at a premium. I'm one of the few who held out to keep them and actually pay and wait out the storm and give Wizards their loan. Okay, I got them. They're technically worth double now. Need to find a buyer. Need to find somebody willing to shell out who didn't drop $3,000 on Triple Masters premium collector boosters or whatever. Like that, you need to find somebody who is willing to pay for them, who is that much of a whale and who's not already decked out on Dominaria, Brothers War, whatever.
Yeah, selling shit at the end of the year always sucks. So what I've noticed from Secret Lairs is their velocity is sort of like tied to when things aren't happening. So like between set releases and between spoiler seasons, Secret Lair velocity tends to go up. Yeah. So like when
there's
no one's
time
like,
between.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so there's like a week where no one's reading Twitter, right? Secret Lair velocity goes up because people aren't looking at the new cards, and that tends to be how it works. So I kind of think that like in the situation you're describing, you're probably supposed to not sell those decks till like Q2 of next year.
Right. Yeah. Which
is a long fucking time.
And like the last thing I wanted to say on Secret Lairs before we move on to Jason's shameless advertising pitch is like one of the hardest things in this industry, if you're just getting into buying and selling Magic cards, you've been doing it just to make the game more affordable, and you're like, I want to do this on a little bit higher level, we'll just start making some money, you put that money back into Magic, whatever. It's often said that like the hardest part of this industry is buying cards, because selling Magic cards sell themselves. It's very easy to click 7 buttons and then put your modern deck on TCG Player or Facebook or whatever and just sell the Magic cards, then you get paid in PayPal. But like buying Magic cards at a good enough margin so that you can afford to resell them to make a profit is the hard part. Like it is sometimes hard to just be somebody who's like, well, I want to buy and sell Magic cards. You can't just go to the collection store and buy a collection, right? And Secret Lairs have sort of been that replacement for people who need a place to put capital. But the biggest problem for some of these people who are just sort of getting into this as the hobby industry, as a fun money thing, is that Secret Lairs are unsexy. They're not like, oh, I bought this collection and found a Mox Diamond in it because it didn't have a rare set symbol. It's just like a number in your bank account changes, and then 9 months later you get some boxes in the mail that you have to cart upstairs, and then 9 more months later you sell them and the number in your bank account goes up. But like, again, that's, like you said, that's a lot of capital to tie up for like 6 months to 18 months. Like, it's just a very invisible, unsexy part of the industry where it's like, yes, I think it's a good place to put money, but it's like, it's not the fun part of the buying and selling of Magic cards, which people might be turned off of.
Is this where I'm supposed to disagree with you? Because I don't.
No, I think that's fair. It wasn't really, I guess, like a discussion point. It's just sort of like just a pitch out into the aether of like, yes, Secret Lairs exist and they can make you money, and they may be a good spot for you to put your bankroll if you're just, because we've had people in our Discord before be like, hey, how do I be known as collection guy, or how do I buy collections? I got the monies. I need to I want to buy the cards. And it's like, sometimes collections just don't. You have to wait for them to come to you. And if you have money burning a hole in your pocket in the meantime, this is a safe yet boring Roth IRA for you, effectively. Although that's not financial advice and you shouldn't take it as
That's
such.
what we advocate on this cast. It's an hour of us talking about boring bullshit, and then people are like, hey guys, they do the pick of the week at 47 minutes. Everybody who listens to this podcast does not want us to say week after week to do something not sexy. It's like, yeah, 35% rate of return. You got to be in your 30s to give a shit about something like that, I think. So if you're not in your 30s yet, we're really sorry that we think 35% is a great return and we're super excited about it. If you would rather do something chaotic, maybe you could send me a beer. Maybe you could send me a beer, like longtime listener, former EDH rec writer, current D&D podcaster, Wally D sent me some beer from Peoria, Illinois, which is, he admits, not exactly the beer capital of the world. However, he sent me a beer called Tripped on a Ghost, which is an imperial stout with cacao nibs, Madagascar vanilla, and ghost peppers.
How do you trip on a ghost?
Because
You can trip on ectoplasm. Like, that's physical slime that you can just get all muddy and dirty.
It's Casper also, which is weird.
That's unsettling.
Yeah, because Casper's a dead kid. Like, right? Like Casper the Ghost, he looks exactly like Richie Rich, and I think those two things might be related.
Isn't ectoplasm ghost cum? Like, am I?
It isn't.
What else
not,
would it be? Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
checking.
I'm cool with that. I'm fine.
Like, it can
I'm
be
fine if that's what it is.
It can be multifunctional, right? Like, it can be both ghost cum and
Yeah.
vomit
And
or
what, DJ?
like secretion. Or...
Listen, bustin' makes me feel good. You know what else makes me feel good? The slight amount of ghost peppers in this beer. It's not unpleasant. They say ghost pepper, but it's just like it's just a little Susan of spiciness. It doesn't really detract from the sweetness of the Madagascar vanilla and the cacao nibs. I kind of wish there were a little bit of lactose in this, but good beer. Thanks, Wally. And if you want to thank Wally for me, check out his YouTube channel, Wally DM, where he makes puzzle and trap videos for Dungeons and Dragons, and he's much happier making D&D content than Magic the Gathering content. Go figure. He joins everybody else I know who transitioned from Magic to D&D and is much happier. But there's no D&D finance, so I think we are going to stick around here until Flesh and Blood proves that it's worth jumping ship for. Thanks for the beer, Wally, and thanks for being a listener, and thanks to all of you for going to YouTube and finding Wally DM and liking, subscribing, bell icon, and all that thing. Do the YouTube stuff for our boy.
I am a little surprised at your appreciation of ghost peppers, given your history with them on this podcast.
Oh, the fact that I lasted the longest without drinking my milk?
I'm not saying you didn't last the longest. I'm just saying it was a very unpleasant experience.
Yeah, and I keep doing it. I've done a chip and 2 gummy bears, I think.
I'm not saying you didn't win. I'm just saying that it came at a price.
Yeah, and this isn't going to be the same. It's not as bad. It's not 9 million Scoville. It's just a little bibbity bibbity, a little
bibbity bibbity. What is this?
Yeah, it's like a ghost. It's like a ghost of a ghost pepper.
Enough to try.
Right? You know how when you're in your house and a ghost walks through your body and you get that little shiver, right? From the real ghosts going through you, because they don't go around because they're like, I'm a ghost. You know that? You know what I'm talking about? That universal experience? Well, it's kind of like that, but with peppers. So it's not a big deal. I'll live.
Corbin doesn't have a ghost of a chance to survive next week if the rating's going.
Oh my goodness. If he doesn't die from COVID, it will be in a car crash. Like anything with C is going to take him out probably.
Jesus.
Chicken wings. That's the other one.
Fuck. If he chokes on a chicken wing tonight, it's a wrap.
Oh, if he chokes on chicken, my goodness. It's an alliterative ghost assassin.
His children.
So this is
a
just
chicken
like
bone
green eggs
just
and
like
ham, but with
breaks into
dad
pieces and cuts up his throat, and they're like, he died from splinter fright.
That would be an event.
He's not here to defend himself, folks. Don't feel bad.
What is it? My name
He
is
bailed
the
on his
Lorax, and I
podcast
speak
co-host.
for the seas.
And we're here slumming it with Paul because Corbin didn't feel...
You know what else starts with C? Commandfest. Those are back.
Oh, man, you should have... You know what doesn't start with C? Breaking bulk. We gotta start this every time. We gotta do it. I'm sorry. Look, you're doing a great job driving the bus,
You
but
had a whole
I'm
transition.
navigating. You're driving, but You're Sandra Bullock. You were in the driver's seat, but I'm Keanu Reeves looking over your shoulder like, whoa, don't run over those cans or whatever. Remember that? Remember the
This
baby
is what
carriage?
we're
that
doing
they
this
hit in
today.
the bus
We're doing
in
speed today.
I
This is
will-
what we're doing.
I will admit, directionally, I am a bit challenged. I do have
That's
weakness.
Listen, don't slow down. Keep the bus going. We gotta stay above 60 miles an hour, right?
Okay, so I was driving. I was not driving. I was navigating to a GP. My friend was driving. We were in the great state of New Jersey, trying to find whatever convention center they had put it in that year. This was like close to a decade ago, and I feel like I gave him great directions up until this point, and I made the fatal mistake of telling him take the circle thingy.
Oh no.
Which,
Like a roundabout?
listen, it was an exit, but like it was a very circle thingy shaped exit. So like, what am I supposed to say?
Take the exit. The circle thingy. Awesome. How did that go? Did you get lost?
We didn't get
Follow-up
lost.
question. What did you do when you got lost? When
It
he
just
took the
us, like,
wrong
an extra-
exit?
It just took us an extra 25 minutes to get there.
Oh, goodness.
We didn't get lost. We knew exactly how.
I hate that a
Delayed
little
we
punt
were.
like that where you're like, oh, I was supposed to turn there and you're in the wrong lane. And then it's like, well, you just added a half hour to your day. Like, there should be like a second chance, like, oopsie ramp where you up and you're like, no, you just take this one, idiot. God, pay attention next time.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, breaking bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
All right, for my breaking bulk is it's a rare from Odyssey that has.
You
I believe,
gotta stop with the... All right, I'm sorry. Sorry.
It has, I think, 6 reprintings. Either way, it's a lot of reprintings. This card has been in numerous Commander precons. It is a black rare from Odyssey.
Oh, a black... Like, are you talking about Mirari's Wake?
No.
Black
Plenty of-
rare.
not
Is it
Plenty of
Echoes?
reprints.
Entomb?
No, Entomb is like a $40 card, Jason.
I know
Entomb's
that.
great.
I'm not
I am
saying that
going-
I don't know.
I
I'm not
am a-
saying Entomb is cheap.
That's
I'm saying
true,
you're
no.
shitty at breaking bulk because you're picking a rare.
That would be a Corbin pick, you're right. If you're guessing, assuming on Corbin, that's a good guess.
Is it a creature?
It is a creature.
Oh, Mortivore.
Yeah. Gotta be.
Mortivore is still worth money
Oh my god,
the-
Mortivore!
to this day. This card is
Is it worth more than a dime?
It's like $2.
Okay. Wow. All right. That's legit.
Mortivore
is
is
always on
not a explicitly powerful card in today's day and age. Regenerate probably doesn't get used a lot. It is mostly used as a fling, I assume. With like your Gerard Golgari Lich Lord, you're just flinging somebody with this to like hit the table for 50 or whatever. But it is one of that class of creatures like Lord of Extinction, like Consuming Aberration.
Revenant. Remember Revenant? No?
Oh, I thought you were making fun of my pronunciation. I didn't hear you. I was like, wait, did I say did I
No,
say the
no,
word
there's a
Revenant?
card called Revenant. That's the
I was
same
like, did
way.
I say the word Revenant weird? Like, no, that's an actual card. 7th edition Revenant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty before 7. It was like in Stronghold or some shit.
7th is the one I remember. But yes, Mortivore is worth money. You should pick this card out of your bulk rares, even though it's not particularly great, and it's had a lot of reprintings. It withstands those reprintings strongly.
Cool. I have a black card also.
Ooh.
Isn't that fun? It's got 4 printings, and none of them are Odyssey. It was originally in Judgment, and it is an uncommon because I understand the rules of this game.
Is it Filth? Has Filth had that many reprints?
Filth is good.
No, and this was never reprinted at Rare. they just reprinted Wonder at Rare in
Yeah.
MH2, which is weird.
Wonder's a limited
That
bomb.
card was fucked.
Judgment
Black
uncommon
uncommon.
from. With
It's a
black.
creature?
No, it's not a creature.
Not a
This
creature.
is a $3 card.
Stitched together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unreal how much
Good
Stitched
call,
Together is. I mean, it's a good card. But, like, it's worth a lot of money.
Black,
Yeah.
reanimate creature. Is it
Yep,
any
and then it
graveyard or
has
is it just your
as
graveyard?
a threshold ability. You put it in your hand if you don't have threshold. You put it into play if you do have threshold.
Okay, so it's definitely not any graveyard if it puts it in your hand.
Yeah,
normally.
it's yours. But either way, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Good call.
It's a Magic the Gathering card.
Mine is red, and it's been printed twice, kind of.
Oh, I see Paul knows about half printings as well. Twice, kind of. It's a red card. Can you tell us a set, please?
Kaladesh.
A braid.
No.
A braid was Hour of Devastation, but I also thought a braid.
Oh. Whatever.
Because it's associated with Kaladesh because it was like the one card from that set that was playable in Standard, while every other card in Standard was from Kaladesh. So like your brain connects that card with Kaladesh, but Kaladesh Bulk.
It's a good
It's not
one.
Cathartic Reunion, is it? That card is not worth anything, right?
That's got way more than 2 printings.
This one is a creature.
What rarity?
Common.
Is it the Archer thing that when you play a thing, does a thing?
Oh, Reckless Fireweaver.
Yeah. TCG is 30 cents low, 46 cents market, and Card Kingdom will pay you 24 cents for 210 of them.
Reckless Fireweaver is great. That especially with all the treasure stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's only going to get better.
Yeah, CK is not dumb. Yeah.
That card just kills people. It's like what's it called? Impact Tremors, but you just kill the table.
Europe.
I forgot about Reckless Fireweaver. God, that card's so good in Pauper.
And it's a common. Jesus. Yeah.
Kaladesh was an awakening for Wizards that cannot be undone.
Kaladesh.
What are we
for me is
gonna do?
always
Print
tainted
Felidar Guardian and Saheeli next to each other? Oh.
That was the winter the Crystal Commerce broke when they switched to a cloud server. And when they were at literally 50-50 on the data, the entire system collapsed for a month.
Wait,
And
what?
all of our So they were transferring to a cloud, and when the system load got to 50-50 old server, new server, both crashed, inventories would no longer update, but our items were still for sale online for a month.
Oh no.
That's not what you want, probably.
We just ended up having to bust cases of Kaladesh to make it so that our delinquent order rate wasn't low enough so that way, like, Amazon didn't kick us off.
Jesus.
Yeah, like, I was just busting, like, 6 cases personally a day, and then, like, alphaing them, and then just giving them to inventory to fill orders. That shit was awful.
What's that like? 6 cases a day? Man. And you alphabetize them? Who has that kind of time?
I mean, that was the job because the business wasn't going to be able to pay rent if, like, we don't have an Amazon account. So, like, the option is, like, everyone pays rent or everyone doesn't pay rent. So you do the thing so everyone pays rent. Like,
That is...
Just another
most of the
day
time we
ruined
just
by
had to rarity break
capitalism.
it, but yeah.
If
that
you
shit
could just
was-
stiff your landlord, you wouldn't know how to do all that.
Speaking of paying rent, Star City Games is paying rent for a convention center in Richmond on June 3rd for a Commandfest. Jason, praise me in my segue.
That was awkward, man. I didn't enjoy that. When you do
You
a
have to
good
consent.
segue, I'll praise you. When you do a gross segue that's bad and then you ask to be praised for it, double gross. I don't like
That's
that.
it.
Don't do that again.
That's
DJ's very clearly overeager about his praise kink, and that's fine. I don't want to
I
yuck
know.
his yum.
It's
But
so weird.
It's
Tell me I had a
important to
good
him,
segue,
Jason.
Daddy.
The
I
daddy
did
silent
find
Jason.
Facebook recently reminded me of the day that I first had a display case of Magic cards close to a decade ago, like the first time I ever sold Magic cards out of a physical display case. And I found a comment by Jason Alt that says, "I am proud of you."
That was 8 years ago.
Did everyone disappear? Did I
And
disappear?
I said close to a decade, and I will cherish it forever.
That's because you wrote for me, and I gave you praise because it didn't cost any money, and I wasn't paying you enough.
Turns out everyone will give you praise instead of paychecks. That's the exchange
So,
rate that
like,
works.
I wonder how
Money's-
things are going in the alternate dimension where the coin flip landed differently and Jim Casale was on this cast.
So, like, money is at the top of, like, normal, like, getting paid, right? And then exposure's at the bottom. Where does, like, positive reinforcement fit on that sliding scale?
It's between exposure and a pizza party.
Okay.
One could say that it is
It's
the
right
pizza
on there
party.
with like a morning huddle where you all have to sing a song, only it's only embarrassing for 2 people and not everybody on the Walmart team.
It's, like, slightly below, like, the boss brought donuts for once in a year, like...
Yeah,
Well, 'cause it's donuts just
it's
for
an
you.
iTunes gift card.
Speaking of paying rent, Star City is paying rent in Richmond, Virginia on June 3rd through 5th for a Commandfest in North America, the first of several throughout the rest of the year, combined with what are we doing? Oh yeah, the Star City, the SCG con series. So like there's the SCG cons, there are going to be like 4 or 5 of them throughout the next several months. And then we're also getting like Command Fests run by whatever the local store is, like cool stuff in Orlando, Star City and Richmond, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's actually really good because we get to do a very specific kind of capitalism where you show up to Command Fest and they're like, that'll be $75. And you're like, oh, I'm not here for the main event. I brought my own cards. I was just going to sit at a table and play with my friends. And they're like, yeah, we know. That'll be $75. And then you're like, well, I was kind of hoping to, not have to pay $75 to play pick-up side event games with my friends. And they're like, but you get a soul ring. And you're like, okay, fine, here's $75. I just got to head to the bathroom. I'm like, no, not without a bathroom pass. Having to figure out a way to charge people to play casual Magic with their own cards with their friends is the most capitalist hellscape shit I can imagine. It's like, we put up with a lot in this fandom, but if you think that like there's not going to be another Command Fest in the hotel lobby for free, you're f***ing insane. Like, I've never paid to go to a Command Fest, and I don't know that I want to start, but like, my goodness, playing with strangers is the worst way to play EDH, and charging me to play with strangers is so much worse. You can keep your promo Soul Ring, and I will change my tune if you have me come as one of the featured guests. Star City, are you listening?
I mean,
You
they
can have
send
me
you,
as a friend or an enemy.
They can
You
send
decide.
you a Roanoke specific beer, and everything could change.
You know what I got? You know what a slut I am for one beer? You just invite me to your Command Fest, and I won't tweet angrily about how you're charging people $75 to play with strangers with their own cards. I won't talk about how absurd that is if you just invite me to hang out. So, in conclusion, Command Fests are great unless I hate them.
I think that's a fair conclusion. They're hitting all of the hot spots throughout North America throughout the summer. Richmond, Vegas, Philly, Indy, Montreal, Orlando, and Bellevue, which is it's Seattle, for those who had to Google Maps it like I did.
Well,
I was like,
It's not just Seattle.
what else is it, Paul?
Can you
So-
see the Space Needle from Bellevue? Because if you can't, then it's not
Bellevue-
fucking Seattle.
Is the place where I think GP Seattle 2018, where 2 11-year-olds asked if they could talk to my coworker's manager to give him a good Yelp review. That's Bellevue.
That's adorable.
What?
Like,
That's the most adorable thing I've ever heard.
it's like
my
high class
God.
adorable. Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, my pick of the week was gonna be clean segues, but I've been told that doesn't have a great future. So,
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
instead, I'm gonna do a pick of the week that has been a pet card of mine for many years, and it has not gotten a reprint. And it's one of those that I'm still surprised is worth a quarter. Like, it's cheaper than a lot of other just not good cards that have potential too. This is a Shards of Alara rare called Realm Razor. And I don't particularly have any reason for it to go up right this second. But both of the paragraphs of text on that card are very, very powerful in terms of removing every land from the game and then returning every land back into play. For those who don't know, Realm Razor is a 6-mana Naya-colored 4/2. Enters the battlefield, remove all lands from the game. When it leaves play, return the removed cards to play tapped, so it makes a billion landfall triggers, and it also just, as long as it's in play, just all the lands are gone. It's a quarter. I don't know how it hasn't spiked with like other random Naya landfall garbage or like other weird O-ring loop shenanigans where you somehow make it so your opponent's lands are gone forever, but like it's a quarter. I know it's 6 mana. I know it doesn't see a whole lot of play at EDH stat. I get it.
It is such a stupid combo card that nobody wants to do the work for.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's such like you either like look at that card and you're like, I would never play anything like that, or like somebody has just housed you at the LGS with some dumb Realm Razor combo where they just like get 50 landfall triggers in a turn. Like, there's no middle ground on that card.
But like, there's other dumber combo cards that are still like $3 though, right? Like, there's similar like 8-card like Necrotic Ooze is like a $4 card.
But Necrotic Ooze was like in legacy combos and shit. Like, nobody's done anything with Realm Razor other than like make EDH miserable for 3 other people.
Like, there's even hype alone. Like, if they print one card, if Josh Lee Kwai puts it in one deck on Command Zone, like, this is a $9 card, right? Like, it's Shards of Alara, and that's it. There's no other printing.
I guess. Sure.
Like, some YouTuber makes, like, a budget commander deck with the new Jetmir or whatever, landfall tokens, and, Avenger of Zendikar with Jetmir, and if you bounce this guy, all your lands come back, and then you get 1 million plants, and I don't know. It's a quarter. The card is literally a bulk rare.
Yeah, and it's literally a bulk rare because it's a landfall card that doesn't have blue in it. Like, who gives a fuck about a landfall card that doesn't have blue in it? You can only play it in one of the 4 potential Omnath decks, and for that reason, I'm out. I don't know, man. Okay. I can't tell you why nobody's playing it, but I can tell you why it's a quarter, and that is because nobody's playing it. Does that make sense? Okay. I have a different card. It's called Mass Hysteria. All creatures have haste. That's it. Agnus the Dragon's Lash will like this. I think people are going to take a second look at hasty stuff, and if Concordant Crossroads is coming back in the next 2 to 25 months, I don't know when the Secret Lair is going to hit. You have... when this airs, you probably have like 10 more days to order that if you want. Mass Hysteria, it's a Mirrodin rare. There's no pressure on any individual Mirrodin rare to be worth money because like they're all worth money. It was a nutso set, so don't worry about it. Mass Hysteria, it'll go up from $10.
This card's $10 right now.
Yeah, man.
I used to have a Heartless Hidetsugu deck where I would only play bulk rares. Every single card in the deck had to be under $1 and a rare, and this was legal in that deck at the time.
I mean, this has been $10 for over a year. So
I know, but that deck was forever ago. It was a very long time ago. But like, this card did used to be a bulk rare, so it's had quite the glow up, and it's deserved. The card's very powerful.
It gives all creatures haste. That's it. That's all it needs, man. You get to use your stuff. I'm building the Ognis deck because Ognis is a commander that lets you win the game with either Hellkite Tyrant or Revel in Riches, and I want to do both those things, so I'm looking forward to that. Ognis, the Dragon's Lash. We're doing it. We're doing an MTG Finance. All right, Paul, what's your pick of the week, baby?
My pick is Calyx, Destiny's Hand from Theros Beyond Death. It's already gone up a bunch this year, but Card Kingdom is 3.25 buy list, and they'll take like 40, and TCG is about that. So you're pretty insulated price-wise, and Theros Beyond Death didn't get printed that much and didn't get cracked that much at all. So the relative supply for things like that came out at the start of COVID is going to start to become more of an issue as we go forward. And this is one of those cards that has a ton more room to grow because of that.
One of my core memories of this card, and I think it's a really good pick. When Theros Beyond Death hit, that was still in the infancy of Wizards giving every single card 97 versions. And the result of that was that none of the versions were worth anything. So you would have people open up the rarest card in the set, the most sought-after cool thing that you could get, which to some people is a foil Planeswalker. Like, that's what you want to hit, is a foil Extended Art Planeswalker. And they would bring up their foil Extended Art Calyx to me, and they'd be like, how much is this? 50, 70, 90? And I'd be like, it's like $2. And then they'd be like, oh, and they'd put it in their binder and walk away. And I think that level of like price memory for a lot of cards, 2 years is a very long time to have price memory for something, but I think that's accurate for a lot of cards released during the pre-COVID and or COVID era. Is like, people look at Calyx and they're like, oh, it's a bulk rare. This card doesn't do anything. It's a quarter Planeswalker, and and Card Kingdom sells it for $6. Like that like, the people buying that card and the people who think that it's a quarter are so divorced from each other that there is a lot of room to be in the middle of those people and make money.
Totally.
Our audio only listeners cannot see Paul's exuberant head nodding at my rant, so I'm not alone.
It was just a good rant.
Thank you. I mean, I like the pick. It's cards that say enchantment on them very rarely age poorly.
Yeah, Theros and Ikoria are going to be so f***ed up in like a year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just like unbelievably. All the
because Ikoria came out right at the beginning of COVID, and nobody was f***ing with Ikoria. Everyone was like, I'm just going to stay home and watch Tiger King. 2 weeks to flatten the curve, baby!
Yeah, people were really uncertain with like money then, and like commodities hadn't spiked yet, so like there's just none of it. It's a good thing Luris is banned and everything.
Is it banned in everything? Is there any format that card's still legal in?
EDH?
It is legal in EDH, that's true.
There we go.
It's even legal as a companion in EDH, because of course it is. It's like, if you want, man.
Is that a good deck? I don't know. I don't want the answer to that question because I don't care. Never mind.
It's valid.
Well, I think I have successfully Corbined. I think I did a Corbin. I am podcasting with a semi-functioning leg and semi-functioning segues as a Corbin would. I may be back next week to talk about my harrowing experience with various diseases and vehicular accidents. You never know. I'm just a wild
both
card
of those
like
things in one day, though. Why is he like that? All right.
We did a podcast. Paul, do you have any pluggables you would like to plug? Any content and or social medias you would like people to...
You can find me on Twitter, apparently still, at PRFEUDO. Other than that, I don't really do much social media, and frankly, who the hell knows what that'll be tomorrow.
Fair enough. Well, everybody, this has been Brainstorm Brewery. Forgot to do the MTG stock sponsorship.
You're like a little Japanese kid. Walking alone to the store for the very first time.
Reframing this as DJ doing that is incredible.
DJ's
Just started there.
DJ's old enough That's the episode title. Old enough. Oh my god. Come on, DJ. It's okay. We have a yellow flag to let everybody know that the podcast episode isn't actually over. You still need to do the pitch for mtgstocks.com, your source for stocks and MTGs. Go to mtgstocks.com today. Get one of their premium memberships. You can have access to the advanced features that DJ and Corbin and I have played around with. It's worth it. Spend the money. MTG Stocks is going to make you money when you look at their stocks and be like, it's very stocky. I'd be like, we have more stocks in stock. And you'd be like, yes, you have a very good selection of stocks in stock. You want a stock? They got all the stocks. You can just go. You don't have to stock them. You can just go to the site, right? Go to mtgstocks.com.
My favorite use of the premium features thus far has been the monthly interests while recovering from my injury, because I was not paying super close attention to a lot of Magic Finance stuff during my recovery, and then I was able to just get a very quick snapshot of the monthly interests and see what cards from backstock needed to be pulled, see what things needed to be price updated, just all the quick updates without having to comb through and do an entire price report on TCG Player that would have taken me several hours. So here you go.
Yeah, and I like Arjun writing the weekly winners wrap up usually, because sometimes that stuff out of context, you're like, why in the actual fuck is this Order in the Court going up, or Hellcarver Demon,
And sometimes there are reasons that aren't just go to EDH Rick and click on the card. Sometimes.
Yeah. So Arjun does a pretty good job of tracking down why that stuff happens. Very rarely, I don't think ever, has Arjun said something that I disagreed with about why a card went up. So if all you do is go to MTG Stocks once a week to read the weekly winner article, that I think goes up on, I want to say Fridays? Yeah, Fridays. I think that's worth it. But if you did sign up for premium features, we think they're worth it.
I think the premium features are good for people who want to be lazy, which is good. Like the price alerts, the monthly interests, like it's good for people who want to pay attention less.
Yeah, just takes the guesswork. Like, you could figure it out. We get it. You're smart, but also you're busy. Let somebody else do all the MTG finance for you, and then just the same reason you clicked on somebody in our comments on this episode saying the pick of the week's at 48 minutes and 11 seconds. The reason you just clicked on that is the same reason you want to go to mtgstocks.com. Give them a small amount of money. If you don't make back the amount it costs for a year of premium in your first month, you're not trying hard enough. MTG Stocks.
Outro music.
None of that is ad copy they give. They trusted us.